Bhai Lehna. Bhai Lehna was and forever will be the greatest Gursikh to ever walk upon this earth. They were, in fact, the second form of Guru Nanak Badshah. And there is so much that we can learn from the journeys that they had, the tests that they underwent, and the examples that they've given us, that for me, it's just a treasure, it's a privilege to talk about these things with you guys today. So we're going back now to 1504 when Bhai Lehna was born onto this earth. It is said that in their younger years, that they would have a desire, what we refer to as Badars. So what I will do is, we're not going to make any assumptions. When I use a word from Gurmukhi terminology, from Sikh terminology, I will explain that, because we're not here to judge, we're not here to make assumptions that people know certain things. So on that point, that was why I asked about questions. If anybody has any questions at any point, please, if you could just let Gagan or Turbinator know, one of you guys could just jump in, and feel free to just interrupt me and put your questions in. So Bhai Lehna was a great Bairagi, and they would go on pilgrimages before they met Guru Nanak Badshah. They would go on many pilgrimages across the earth. They would go and visit places of worship, pursuant to the lineage that they were born into. And so on one particular pilgrimage to go and see Durga Devi, they would go and they would come across, in the early hours of the morning, they would come across a Gursikh called Bhai Jodha. And Bhai Jodha and Amrit Vela, they're singing the Kirtan of Guru Nanak Badshah. And as Bhai Lehna, they hear the voice of Bhai Jodha as they're doing Kirtan, as they're singing the praises of Paramatma. As this is happening, they find that their heartstrings are being plucked, and they're like, yo, what is this sound? What is this vibration? It is speaking to me in a language that hitherto is unknown to me. And I need to speak to you about, where is this voice? So they go up to Bhai Jodha, and they say to Bhai Jodha, where is it that you have heard this Shabad? Where is it that you have been blessed to hear these words? And Bhai Jodha, they smile, because obviously they've tasted that sweetness, that matiyai, that sweetness that Bhai Lehna is now longing to taste. And they say, these are the words of my Sadguru, these are the words of Guru Nanak Badshah. Where is Guru Nanak Badshah? Bhai Lehna asks. And Bhai Jodha says, you want to know where Guru Nanak Badshah is? He is here, he is there, he is everywhere. He is part and parcel of the whole of creation, because he is that formless Lord. We say, Tu hi Nirankar. We refer to Guru Nanak Badshah as, you are that one which is Nirankar. You are that one that is part and parcel of that formless Lord. That you are, in fact, a reflection of that formless Lord. And so in this way, Bhai Lehna, they hear of Guru Nanak Badshah, they hear this name, and they say that if you want to see them in their physical form, you can go to Kartarpur Sahib. So Guru Nanak Badshah is physically present. They have become Pargat on this earth, and they are at Kartarpur Sahib. So what happens is, Bhai Lehna, they start to seek out this place of Kartarpur, and they go and visit this place, and they are looking now for a being, a form, a light that they've not yet seen before. And as they reach the outskirts of this village, they come across a person in the physical form. And as they approach this person, that person looks upon him with friendly eyes. And they say, you come from afar, what is your purpose here today? In Guru Pratap Suraj Graph, this is written, that when he asks the question, he says, for what purpose have you come into this village? He goes, I'm looking for the house of Guru Nanak. Do you know where Guru Nanak's house is? And this person that is walking on foot says, I know the house of Guru Nanak. I will take you to that house if that is where you want to go. And Bhai Lehna offers the reins of his horse to this being. He offers the reins of his horse to this being, and putting them into the hands of this very helpful young man. He passes the reins to this helpful young man, and he's riding on top of his horse, and they start to ride towards the house. When they get to this house, he says to Bhai Lehna that if you go inside, you'll find that this is the house of Guru Nanak. You'll find what you were looking for. Leaving his horse outside unattended to, Bhai Lehna dismounts from his horse, again thinking about that Shabad that Bhai Jodha had sung. Thinking about that Shabad that Bhai Jodha was singing from the name of Guru Nanak. And as they enter into this house, they see that in fact, the very person that led them to the house is now sitting there in the comfort of that home. Bhai Lehna looks at him and says, you are Guru Nanak. How can it be that I've committed such a great biadbi? I've come to seek out my Guru. I've come to seek out your darshan, to have a chance to look upon your face. And a great biadabi has taken place. A great disrespect has taken place because you were walking on foot while I was riding side by side on my horse. How could I have been allowed to commit such an atrocity? How could I have been able to be so disrespectful to you, to Guru Nanak? And what Guru Nanak Bhatta would say would catch my heart. And I would remember these words for the rest of my life. What Guru Nanak Bhatta would go on to say, they would say, no, there is no biadabi that has happened. This is the way of things. This is the way of the things, because you have understood that you will come to understand that nobody comes to the house of Guru Nanak without the blessings of Guru Nanak. Maharaj says, Ape Sangata Sadh Bahale, Ape Vida Karave. Maharaj explains that actually to be in the house of the Guru, you had to be led here. To be here together on this platform, to be together on Discord and have this opportunity to come together with all of the blessed Sangat, my brothers and sisters all the way across the world in Canada, is such a blessing. Let's not think for a second that we've woken up today and we've decided that today we're going to do this. For to be together in the group of the Sangat, to be together on this platform and to have a chance to do vichar and learn from the house of Guru Nanak, it is by the blessings of the Guru that this can occur. And so Bhai Lena is now sitting in the company of Guru Nanak Badshah, and Bhai Lena is there, and Guru Nanak is explaining that actually you had to offer the reins of your horse. Not many people will do this. Not many people will give up their own mat. Stuck in this dubda of the world, stuck in constantly just trying to go in the direction that the mind is taking us, we get consumed. And so Bhai Lena, I say to Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, forgive me for being disrespectful. And Guru Nanak Bhatta is actually explaining that actually to be here, don't think you could have ventured to this place through your own efforts. It is in fact only by the blessings of the Guru that you can be here. My friends, what does this lead us to reflect? What is Bhai Lena teaching us today in this Sakhi? Guru Nanak Bhatta is explaining to us, Bhai Lena is teaching us that whilst we seek out with our own mat, whilst we are making our own efforts, and we should do this, Maharaj says, Udam kare, make that effort, yes, but understand that when we are victorious in this world through any means, through our own efforts as we might perceive them to be, no. The truth of the matter is when we are victorious in any way, it is because the Guru has taken hold of the reins of our horse and taken us to that place of victory. We say this so quickly. We say the words Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. When we say Fateh, when we say the blessed greeting of Daswe Pacha Sahib Sri Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, we say Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh, meaning that in actual fact all of our victories in this world, whatever we have succeeded in doing, it is in fact by the blessings of the Guru that we have been able to do this. And I think for all of us, it's a chance for us to reflect. Because what that actually means is when we're victorious in our endeavors, be it an endeavor to come together in the Sadh Sangat, be it an endeavor for us to make progress in our Nitnem, make progress in doing Simran every single day, make progress to come together on platforms and listen to Katha Vichar, we should always come from a place of gratitude. We should open up our hearts and be like, yo, Maharaj, without your blessings, what I'm doing right now couldn't be achieved. Without your asisa, without your bakshish, what I am looking to try and achieve, what I'm looking to try and strive forwards with, wouldn't be able to be achieved. And so by Lena, it is said that when they fall at the house of Guru Nanak at this time, that they take off the vest of a person who's a pujari of Durga Mata. They would wear certain clothes, a certain red kind of clothing that would make them representative of one who is worshipping Durga from the Hindu faith. They would take off these clothes, and what would happen is they would take on the garb that was given to them by Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. Guru Nanak Dev Ji would look at them and they would say, why are you doing this? Why have you taken off these clothes? And Bhai Lena Ji would say that if you leave your house looking for honey and you come across Amrit, would you still carry on searching for honey? And Guru Nanak Bhatta, they are pleased by this response. And again, these teachings in such small verses, in Gaviji teachings from Suraj Prakash, do we learn such great lessons that we have so much, my friends. We have so much in our company, so many khajana. We have so much in the khajana. We have so much in the nidana that when we come into the house of the Guru, but oftentimes it's just our lack of appreciation of what we have before us. And we're looking for so much outwardly in the world to make us happy. We're looking so much outwardly for honey. unbeknownst to us, that we have Amrit around us in the company of Gurbani. My friends, Bhai Lehna is saying to us, they are saying to Guru Nanak 500 years ago, but they're actually saying to us, yo, if you're blessed to be in a house where Amrit flows, if you're blessed to be in this house where Amrit, the undying nectar, flows in the form of Gurbani, why is it that your mind is so discontented that we must continue to search for what will give us contentment elsewhere? Maharaj says, Sarab Sukha mein pa liya, Bharat Jayavad na koi. Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj gives us a teaching. They say, Sarab Sukha mein pa liya. Like a father to a son, like a father to a daughter. Maharaj says to his child, he goes, yo, listen to me very carefully. Sarab Sukha, I've had every sukh in this world. I've tasted every sukh as a king of this world, as the king of all kings in this world. I have tasted every sukh in this world. Sarab Sukha mein pa liya, Bharat Jayavad na koi. None of them are so sweet. None of them even come in close to being able to compare to the sweetness of that naam, of that sweet nectar, that if we're so blessed to have a chance to come before the Guru. And so Bhai Lehna is giving us another teaching. They're saying to us, yo, stop looking for sweetness of honey in this world and accept that you have the sweetest of all things in your company when we are before the Guru. Bhai Lehna starts to serve the Guru so fervently. They start to serve the Guru with so much pyar and love and dedication that it becomes apparent to all of the Sangat that Guru Nanak Pacha is favorable to Bhai Lehna. That Guru Nanak Pacha, they have love for all, but their affections towards Bhai Lehna as that perfect disciple, as that perfect Gursikh, ever obedient, that it is likely that Guru Nanak Pacha, that they will favor Bhai Lehna as the second Guru. And Mata Sulakhani ji, the wife, the Mahal of Guru Nanak Pacha, they come to hear of these rumors and concerned about the perhaps overlooking of her sons, Baba Siri Chand, Baba Lakshmi Das. She's concerned that perhaps her sons may be overlooked as the next Guru. She goes to speak with Guru Nanak Pacha and she does matha tek before her Guru, before her Pati Parmeshwar, that form of God that was in the form of her husband Lord. And she does matha tek before Guru Nanak Pacha. And she says, don't do this. The rumors are such that you're going to prefer to have Bhai Lehna as the second. But what of your children? What about the ways of the world? The ways of the world are for people to advance their children. The ways of the world are such that every parent should do their best to elect for their children to sit in a better place and make progress upon the initial endeavors of their parents. In other words, you have become the Guru, and it is now appropriate for you to give the Guruship to your sons. This is the way of the world, that like kings of the world would give kingdoms to the eldest sons and so on and so forth. Why is it that you cannot follow this tradition? Why is it that you're looking to favor Bhai Lehna? And Guru Nanak Pacha, in their wisdom, they look upon the face of Mata Sulakhani ji, and they are like, obviously they are the form of God. They are that one, Durkaram Paya tu jinko se naam har ke lage. They are one that through that naam, they have that dur darshan. They have the ability to be able to see further because in fact, they are the form of all creation. They know that in these worldly examples, that there is a wisdom in what Mata Sulakhani is saying insofar as the world is concerned. They know that having listened to what Mata Sulakhani has said, implying the logic of the world. But Guru Pyari Sad Sangat ji, this is where Sikhi is so beautiful. We spoke about Sikhi as Amrit compared to honey of the world, right? And this is where Sikhi is so beautiful because in the world, people try to employ logic. If you're a computer programmer, you'll try to employ logic. If you're a scientist, you'll try to employ logic. But Sikhi is the way of Pyar. There is a logic to Sikhi. There's a sweetness to Sikhi that can only come through that taste. And so Guru Nanak Pacha has heard the logic of the world of Mata Sulakhani ji as she has spoken. They've heard the logic of the world. But how do you respond when your answer is beyond the finite? When your answer is beyond this world? How do you explain to Mata Sulakhani as to why the ways of the world don't apply to Bhai Lehna, who is beyond this world? Guru Nanak Pacha, they remain silent, for they know that the ways of the world cannot be explained through the world. And so they decide to give teachings. They decide to give tests to Bhai Lehna that would elevate the world's understanding of what it means to be a perfect Gursikh. That Bhai Lehna would, through passing these tests, they would in their own actions, Bhai Lehna, give an answer to the world as to why they would be befitting to be named as a second Guru. It is said that on an occasion, shortly after Mata Salakshmi ji has asked the questions of Guru Nanak, it is said that after a short while, that Bhai Lehna ji is sitting in a darbar. Baba Siri Chand is there, Baba Lakshmi Das is there, and Guru Nanak Pacha, they're sitting on a takht, they're sitting on that internal throne, and the Kirtan has taken place, and Guru Nanak Pacha, they're sitting there, and their eyes are closed. When they open their eyes, they see that there is a small mouse in the darbar. There is a small mouse that has entered the darbar. And this mouse has been, the nature of these mice are such, the nature of these mice are that they are the prey of cats. And that when a cat will capture a mouse, what it will do, the nature of cats, is that they would eat half the mouse and leave the other half behind. For some reason, the cats will never fill their belly. They will never completely consume what they catch. They will only eat half and they will discard the other half. And so there's there's half of a mouse left on the floor in the darbar. Guru Nanak Badshah, the questions of Mata Salakshmi are still ringing around in the Sangat. They're ringing around in the hearts of those people that are wondering why Guru Nanak Badshah will look past their own sons and prefer Bhai Lehna. And it's in this context that this episode takes place. Bhai Lehna is sitting there, Baba Siri Chand is there, Baba Lakshmi Das is sitting there, and Guru Nanak Badshah, they look at their eldest son, they say to Baba Siri Chand, they say, Siri Chand, this doesn't look nice. There's a dead mouse, half of a dead mouse in the darbar. It's not clean, it's not nice. We go and pick up that mouse and take it outside and deal with it as appropriate. Baba Siri Chand, they look at Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj and they say, Pitaji, I'm the son of the Guru. I am the son of the Guru, and so I am afforded a great place in this house. I cannot do such lowly, menial tasks, as people will laugh at me that why am I picking up the dirt? Get someone else, get a cleaner to do this. Get some nokkar, some slave, some person in the worldly sense to undertake this task. But don't ask me, Maharaj, to do this. Ask another. Guru Nanak Badshah, they turn to Baba Lakshmi Das, their second son, their second eldest son, and they say to Baba Lakshmi Das, you go and pick up this mouse and have it such that the darbar is kept clean, that the honor of this immortal darbar is kept respectful. Baba Lakshmi Das responds in a similar tone. And then what happens? Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, they look towards Bhai Lehna and they say to Bhai Lehna, go and pick up that half-headed mouse and take it outside. Bhai Lehna goes up to that mouse without any hesitation. They pick it up, and what do? They place it into a small cloth and they place it upon their head. They place it upon their head as if they are the way that the Sangat would carry Prasad in the Gurdwara, the way that Maharaj is brought in by the Singhs, so much satkar is given to that dead mouse, that when it is taken outside, it is Bhai Lehna undertakes certain rites of passage for that mouse, the half remaining corpse of this dead mouse, I should say. And that mouse is treated with so much respect that when the Sangat, they come to Bhai Lehna, they say, what are you doing? Why are you being so reverent? Why are you being so respectful in your disposal of this dead body of half of a mouse? And Bhai Lehna, they look and they have water in their eyes. And they say, this is not an ordinary mouse. My Satguru Nanak has looked at this mouse. That they have placed their favorable grace of glance, that they have placed their nadari, their glance of grace upon this mouse. This is no ordinary mouse. It's been blessed that Guru Nanak Badshah would place their dhyan, that they would place their attention upon this mouse. Oh, so fortunate is this mouse that for me to have a chance to pick it up and undertake my Guru's wishes, that this is how blessed I am. Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, this is what it means to have love. This is what it means to have ardent devotion, to put aside every part of your own being and just totally fall in love with the Guru's bakshish, the Guru's teachings. Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, Bhai Lehna is giving us this teaching that we should be so grateful to sit in the company of the Sad Sangat. Bhai Lehna is looking at a mouse that the Guru has looked at and treating in this way. What of the Sad Sangat then? What of the Sad Sangat that the Guru has brought into the Guru's darbar? Oftentimes, and perhaps I'm speaking primarily to myself here, we go to the Gurdwara and we pay respects to Guru Granth Sahib Ji. We bow before the Guru. But how do we treat our fellow Gursikhs? How respectfully are we in our conduct towards our brothers and sisters? For these are those blessed mouse. We are those blessed mice in the house of the Guru. No, we are the ones, going back only a few minutes as we started this vichar, we are the ones that sit in the company of those great Gurmukhs. We're the ones that are so lucky to sit in the company of those great Gurmukhs that the Guru has chosen to bring into their darbar. If the Guru has looked upon this mice so favorably that Bhai Lana is placing it upon his head out of respect, then what of the Sad Sangat that the Guru has brought into their darbar every single day to listen to Kirtan? Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, when we have a chance to look upon the Guru's Sangat, when we have a chance to sit in the company of those that do Kirtan, we should be so grateful. We should always be so grateful and really, really understand that to be in the company of the Sangat, of those that have received the blessed glance of grace of the Guru, wow, what a blessing. Why is it so important that we dwell upon these subjects? Why is it so important that we take these teachings into our heart? Because the nature of this repetitive world is that through every day seeing something, we lose the ability to see its value. We lose the ability to be allured by its beauty. And so it's important that we remind ourselves that actually to be in a Sad Sangat is a blessing. Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, to be having a chance to come together and do vichar. I consider myself just that dead mouse. To have a chance to come together in the Sangat and listen and learn listen and come together and do Simran and Amrit Vala and do Kirtan with the Sad Sangat, this is such a blessing. And the example that Bhai Lana has given us, that if you ever get a chance to look upon, forget even do these things, if you ever are one who is enabled to just be in the company of those that are blessed by the Guru, you should count yourself lucky. Guru Sahib says, Jana Nanak Tur Mange Tiskur Sikh Ki, Jo Aap Jape, Avara Naam Japave. Maharaj says that they would consider themselves to be the dust on the feet of those that do Simran, those that do Simran and inspire others to do Simran. And Bhai Lana is looking at us, is teaching us that this is the amount of respect that we should show to one that the Guru has glanced upon gracefully. Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, if we're ever lucky to be in the Sad Sangat, let's open up our hearts and be present there from a place of gratitude in our own hearts. Let's open up our hearts and be present in the Sad Sangat from a place of gratitude, for Bhai Lana Ji is teaching us the value of just being half a dead mouse in the Guru's darbar, where the Guru happens to glance upon you with their grace. Bhai Lana Ji is continuing in their company of the Guru. And this Sad Sangat Ji, for me, is such a beautiful teaching. This is perhaps what I'm going to share with you now, one of my favorite examples of what it means to be that form of Bhai Lana, what it means to be that great Gursikh that would go on to serve the Guru so beautifully. There came a time where it hadn't rained for some time, and the ground was hard, the Sangat's throats were parched, there had not been much food available, and the Sangat were hungry. And the Sangat, they come to Guru Nanak Badshah as they're outdoors, and they're outdoors in the fields, and they say to Guru Nanak Badshah, they say, Maharaj, can you please bless us with some food? Bless us with this opportunity that we can eat, that we can have bhojan in your presence, that we can have some food. And Guru Nanak Badshah, they're standing in front of this drakht, kikr de drakht. The nature of this tree is, it wouldn't even, forget fruit, it wouldn't even bear leaves. It was like a bare tree. And Guru Nanak Badshah, they look at this tree and they said, this tree will bear all the fruit that you would like. This tree will bear all of the fruit that you would like to eat. And they say to Baba Siri Chand, we climb this tree and shake the branches. And Matyai will fall from this tree, and the Sangat that have come here today, they've made this request that they can have a chance to eat. The Sangat will have all of the Matyai, they'll be able to pick up the Matyai that falls from the branches, and the Sangat can eat this wonderful food. Baba Siri Chand is looking at the tree. The tree is bare. Forget Matyai, it doesn't even bear fruit or leaves. It's like a bare tree. They say to Guru Nanak Badshah, they said, don't make me do this. This is embarrassing. That I'm an important person in this house. If I do this, people will laugh at me. Don't ask me to do this task. Don't request me to climb this tree and shake it, for surely this is going to become bad for everyone. It's not going to look good on you. It's not going to look good on me. It's going to look bad on everybody. And so Guru Nanak Badshah, they turn to their younger son. They say to Baba Lakshmi Das, They say, Baba Lakshmi Das said, you go and climb this tree and shake the branches. Let the food flow, let the matiyai fall that the Sad Sangat can eat. Baba Lakshmi Das, they have a way of teaching us this teaching. They say, my older brother is very wise, Guru Nanak Dev Ji. My older brother is very wise. You haven't got to embarrass us. I think I'm going to listen to my older brother. He's very wise. Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, the mind has a funny way of finding a impeccable logic when it enables you not to do what your guru says. Isn't that true? How our mind can be so sensible in application, in finding reasons not to follow the Guru's teachings. We look outside and it's raining. We go, there's no point going to the Gurdwara, it's raining. Oh, we're going to catch a cold. We look outside and we think, oh, we don't need to go to the Gurdwara because it's raining. We can apply a logic in our mind that makes sense in the short term, unbeknownst that there's a bigger cosmic play at play here right now. And so, in these examples, we see Baba Lakshmi Das, they say, listen, I don't have to I'm going to listen to my older brother. And when it suits us, we use the examples given to us by family members not to make progress in our Sikhi. We look to examples from our families. I remember when I came into Sikhi, when I, going back 20 odd years, when I was a Monna, I used to have cut hair, I used to have like short back and sides, some shockwaves in my hair. I used to drink alcohol, occasional recreational drugs. I come from a family of pub owners, and so my life was very different then. And I remember when I kept my gas. I remember when I started to grow my gas. And at this time, my family, who have their own logic, they would say the most logical things that would apply to my mind as I was making this journey, trying to make just one step towards the Guru. And they would say things to me like, you haven't got to keep your gas to love God. And it's like, whoa, where did all these philosophers come from out of my family? People would come up to me, they say, look, God won't love you any less if you don't keep your gas. And it's amazing how much logic people can apply, how much logic people can think of with their own mat when it comes to convincing people not to move forward in Dharam, because we're in Kaljug. We're in this dark age of Kaljug where deception represents itself through truth. And people would say to me things like, you haven't got to keep your gas to love God. And I was like, yeah, but we haven't got to cut my gas to love the world either, you know? And my Guru's teachings, my Guru's hukum is far more important to me than the examples and the followers of this world. And so Bhai Lakshmi Das is giving us this teaching that don't always let your mind lead the way. Even if it employs the most impeccable logic, where it's taking you away from your Guru, know that your mind is just your mind. And there's such a teaching for us, my friends. We are not our minds. It sounds so strange for us to address this point, but Maharaj gives us such a teaching. Guru Sahib gives us such a teaching. Maharaj explains to us over and over again to address the mind, and know that we are so much more. Manatu Jyot Sarup hai, apna mool pachan. Maharaj talks to us about going beyond the mind and recognizing our root, recognizing who we really are inside. And so whenever you have the opportunity to, whenever your mind is telling you not to make progress in your Sikhi, when you hear a voice inside you saying, you haven't got to do this, recognize that voice isn't there to do anything for your spiritual progress. It's there to protect itself, to protect your own ego. And where there's a dubda, where there's a doubt, always go with what the Guru is saying. Khair Guru Sikh Pyaro, going back to the Sakhi, Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, just a quick recap. The Sangat have come to Guru Nanak and they've asked Guru Nanak for food. Guru Nanak is standing beneath the trees, Kikar the Drakh, that this tree that doesn't even bear fruit. And they're saying to Guru Nanak Pacha, give us some food. And Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj just explained to the Sangat that Baba Siri Chand, you should shake this tree, Matiyai will fall from this tree. And the Sangat will be able to enjoy the fruits and the beauty of the Matiyai that has fallen from this tree. Baba Siri Chand said no, because it's embarrassing. There'll be no Matiyai. It's going to be embarrassing when nothing falls from this tree. Guru Nanak Dev Ji turns to Baba Siri Chand, Baba Lakshmi Das, and they say, you shake the tree. Baba Lakshmi Das is saying, no. My brother is very wise. On this occasion, Guru Nanak Dev Ji, I will follow the examples of my brother, and I'm not going to be shaking this tree. Guru Nanak Dev Ji, they turned to Bhai Lena. Before they could even speak the words to Bhai Lena is walking towards the tree. Now, can you picture the Sangha that are all standing there? They are hungry. They're watching Baba Sri Chand say no. They're watching Baba Lakshmi Das say no. And here is Bhai Lena He's not even been given an instruction. He's just been looked at the way that the Guru looks upon you. And Baba Bhai Lena is walking past Baba Lakshmi, Baba Siri Chand, Baba Lakshmi Das, the two sons of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. And they're speaking to Bhai Lena. What do they say? They say, Lena, don't do this. It's going to be embarrassing. My father is growing old. He's obviously going mad. Don't climb this tree. Don't shake the branches. Nothing good will come of this. How can it be that Matiai falls from the tree? Look, there is nothing in those branches. Bhai Lena, don't do this. Just relax. You're going to embarrass yourself. You're going to look bad. But what Bhai Lena would say was such a teaching that it was instilled in my heart. And I want to share this with you now, Sadh Sangat Ji. This is so important. Really focus on what Bhai Lena's response was. Bhai Lena says to the two sons of Guru Nanak, they say, listen, I don't know if Matiai is going to fall from that tree or not. That's not my job. My job is to do what my Guru has told to me. For the Matiai to fall or not fall is not my prerogative. It's not my responsibility. That is in the hands of my Guru. That is in the lap of Vaheguru. My job is to do what my Guru has told me to do. Bame, everything else is in the house of Guru Nanak. Everything else is in the hukum of the Guru. And Bhai Lena would climb that tree and they would shake the branches and Matiai would fall from the sky. They would fall from the heavens. They would fall from the branches of that tree. And the Sangat would take their full of that Amrit. They would take the full of that blessings, of that prasad, that Mahaprasad that Guru Nanak Badshah has provided for them. What teaching is this for us, Sadh Sangat Ji? The teaching for us is this, that we are spending so much of our time, we live in an age of such scholarly education in the worldly sense through university, through college. We live in an age where there's so much scholarly information, where we're so educated beyond our parents. Our parents have worked so hard to come and establish themselves in our respective Western countries. And they've labored their efforts so that we could go on to get educations. And those educations are now being used by us to develop what we consider to be an advanced mat, an advanced understanding. In reality, what we're really doing is disguising an opportunity to just follow our own minds. What Bhai Lena is saying is, yo, listen, you haven't got to worry too much about understanding your own mind. What we really should be doing is forgetting our own mat and accepting the Guru's teachings. Bhai Lena is being told by logical people, there's no Matiai in that tree. There's nothing in this tree. It's a barren tree. By all logic, by all botany, by all worldly scientific understanding, this is not going to be of any avail. But his obligation was to follow the Guru's teachings. His obligation was not to question the logic of what he was being asked to do, but to undertake that labor of love and to fulfill his Guru's hukum. And I think, my brothers and sisters, we look around in our lives and we see so much anxiety, we see so much guilt, so much feelings of ill progress. We have jobs that if we thought we'd have these jobs 10 years ago, we would have snatched our arm off. Said, I'll take that in a split second. We're earning salaries that we couldn't have dreamed of that we were earning 10 years ago. We've passed exams that we couldn't have dreamed of as passing as well as we've done. And yet, with all of this success in the worldly sense, we're nowhere near as happy as we thought we might have been. And we're all wondering why. With all of the success of the world, with all of the success in the relationships we've undertaken in this world, there still remains a reminisce, that we still remain remiss within our hearts of what's lacking. And Guru Pyari Sadh Sangat Ji, it's so important that we reflect in this way. Because what we need to do is recognize that we're wondering why all of the Matiai is absent from our life. We're wondering why all the Matiai is absent from our life. But we're wondering why all the Matiai is absent from our life, but are we even shaking the tree? We're wondering why we don't have that bliss that exists in scripture as a promise, but are we even shaking the tree? If all that we're doing is undertaking our own worldly activities, if all that we're doing is applying ourselves in a worldly sense, and we are lacking that bliss in our lives, really and truly, we've got to be looking at our actions, right? And again, I'm probably speaking more to myself than anybody else, but there's something that which we need to be doing, which we know we're not doing. Maybe that might mean we're not undertaking a strict observance of our Amrit Vala. Maybe it might mean that we're not listening to as much gatha in our daily life. We're not doing any simran. But rather than looking outwardly for why there's something missing, let's think about why we're not shaking the tree, right? And I think Bhai Lena has given us this teaching. They've given us such an example that we can spend our whole lives just undertaking worldly things and obtaining positions in this world. But we'll wonder why there's a bliss missing in our own hearts. And I think we only have to look to our own inactions in terms of fulfilling the Guru's instructions to see what's missing in our lives. Bhai Lena, they were that form of the God. They were that form of Paramatma Vaheguru. They are that form of Paramatma Vaheguru. And they weren't without that bliss. For everything else, they could do without. But that one thing which we all desire, that Anand, where does it come from? It comes from following the Guru. Ananda, Ananda, Sabko ke hai, Ananda Guru te janiya. Maharaj explains to us that if you want that Anand, yeah, then there's only one place you've got to go, and that's the Guru's Updesh, that's the Guru's teachings. And what Bhai Lena was teaching us through that example is, look, we ain't got to worry too much. Stop worrying about the outcome of your actions in this world in terms of how it's making you feel. Start worrying about what we're actually doing. Concentrate on the doing. Concentrate on the undertaking, on the task being completed. And in this way, we'll make progress. So Guru Pyari Satsangat Ji, I wanted to just share these examples because Bhai Lena is such an example to all of us. I imagine, I picture Bhai Lena intuitively as being completely happy with everything around them at all times. I'm going to say that again. I picture Bhai Lena in the company of the Guru as being completely happy and at peace with everything and all their surroundings at all the time. Because whenever they had to reflect, it was with the reflection of, I am following my Guru's hukum. The answer is yes, I am happy. Am I following my Guru's hukum? The answer is yes, and I am happy. And there is so much contentment to be had. In reality, Guru Pyari Satsangat Ji, all we really want is to be happy, right? All we really want is that feeling of bliss. And for a good Sikh, that bliss is found in following the example of Bhai Lena and putting aside our own mat, our own logic, our own thought process as to why we shouldn't be doing things, putting that all aside and just doing what the Guru says we should do. What is it that Guru Sahib is telling us? They're saying, speak sweetly, have humility in your heart, communicate from a place of love, show love to the Guru Pyari Sad Sangat, always be in a place of gratitude, always have the name of God upon your lips, always share what you have with others and in a heartily way, always serve those that are in need, but not from a place of desire, but from a selfless place. Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji, if we do these things, we have all to gain. If we are blessed to have a chance to do these things, again, the circle, depending on how deep down the rabbit hole you want to go, if we do these things, we get to experience that bliss. Because it is from that bliss that we understand truly, as we go full circle, as we come to the end of the vichar. If we do these things, we get to realize that we didn't do anything at all in the first place, but we just offered our reins to the Guru. And if we do these things, and if we're doing these things, it's a chance for us to just stop, take stock and go, yo, Maharaj, thank you for bringing me to your house. Because it is by your grace, it is by your blessings that we can do anything. And it is by your blessings, your grace, that we can achieve any of the things that we achieve in life. So Guru Pyari Sad Sangat Ji must have made many mistakes. I'm keen to ensure that we finish on time and have time for any questions that might exist. For anything that I've said. If I've made any mistakes, you are the Sad Sangat of Guru Nanak. You are the Sad Sangat that we just spoke of. And I'm just that mouse. I'm just that half-dead mouse in the company of the Guru, just being grateful to be in your good company. I ask for your forgiveness. And what I was going to just say is, with the thoughts of Bhai Lena in mind, if we could all just find a comfortable place to sit still, let's just recite the Guru Mantra 5 times together in Sangat Roop. So I'm going to say the Guru Mantra wherever you guys are, wherever if you could just sit, and maybe if you can cross your legs and sit with your back straight. And I'm going to say the Guru Mantra, and if you guys just take that into your hearts and open up your hearts and give us your blessings, and then say the Guru Mantra back from wherever you are, and hopefully that vibration we can all share and enjoy in that vibration. Vahe Guru, Vahe Guru, Vahe Guru. Vaheguru. Vaheguru. Guru Pyari Sat Sangat, may we all be blessed to follow in the example of Bhai Lehna. May we all be blessed to have a chance to serve in the Guru's Darbar. May we all be blessed that when our mind gives us reasons not to do things, to move forward towards the Guru, that we dismiss those minds, that we forget our own mat, that we put aside our own inhibitions and commit towards taking steps towards the Guru. For Guru Sahib says, Bhai Gurdas Ji explains, that when we take one step towards the Guru will take 1,000,000 steps towards meeting us on that journey. Charan Sharan Guru Ek Penda Jai Jal, Tat Guru Kot Penda Aage Hoy Lete Hai. Bhai Gurdas Ji says, for every step that we take, the Guru will take 1,000 steps towards completing that journey. If I've made any mistakes, I ask your forgiveness. Deho se nasi sariya jo hove sahib shomer. Vaheguru ji ka khalsa, Vaheguru ji ki fateh. Does anybody want to jump in? Gurkaran Singh? Just while we're waiting for that question, there was a Singh who came at the beginning. It just occurred to me now. I've got a very jovial sort of sense of humor. I hope that you guys are open to that, because it just occurred to me afterwards. I hope nobody was offended by my jokes. We just have in London. They say that I say that sarcasm was born out of London, and so we would just use that as a joke. And I hope that my brother was not offended. It's just a joke that we have. Deep love. deep love to deep love to all the family in Toronto and in Vancouver and the whole of Canada. Deep love to all of you guys.
No. I was I was about to roast England there for a second. I was about to say, hey, England came to Canada. They were fed up with the area there.
Yeah, I think I think you're probably right. If a little secret, if I had a choice, I'd probably choose Canada. It's beautiful there, man. I'm looking forward. Hopefully, Guru Kirpanal. I've got some friends in Canada. They keep talking about coming out there to do katha. Hopefully, with Guru Kirpa, we get invited. You guys are kind. If you guys are kind to me and you guys let me be in your company, as we spoke about, to be in the company of the Sangha is a blessing. So hopefully, with your blessings, we can come and do katha and do some vichara with you face to face in the local Gurdwara.
Hanji Maharaj Kirpanal. But
yeah, man, it's just help me, bro. You know I'm struggling with the old Discord thing, so you read it. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. All right, so Paji, the first question is Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Bhai Sahib, I had a question. I was reading about the Christian perfection perspective, which describes union with God through true love. I was wondering if the only requirement for true union, regardless of faith, is the need of a Satguru. Also, is it possible that other faiths within Kal Yuga have had Satgurus but not truly on the level of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj? Or do we consider that the great prophets like Muhammad or Jesus can only take you so far, like Swarag for X many saints exist from different faiths? Can they be at the similar avastha of the great saints throughout Sikhi? That's a very
Okay,
big question.
now that's fine. I'm going to break that down to two questions. The first question was about the Christian perspective. Could you read the first half of the question out again? I'll address that.
Yeah,
The first
sure. So it says that I was reading about the Christian perspective, which describes union with God through true love. I was wondering if the only requirement for true union, regardless of faith, is the need of a Satguru.
All right, so this is a really cool question. I want to just share my answer with you because this is something I'm really passionate about. This is one of the reasons that I fell in love with Sikhi. So for me that don't know, I may be surprised to know, I wasn't actually born into the Sikh faith. So my family aren't practicing Sikhs. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I'm the only person in my family that's Amritdhari in my generation. I think that's correct. Yeah. Like I said, my family, I've got a family of pub owners and club owners. You know, we used to get our treats as being kids was we had like guest lists on all the clubs and stuff like that. Growing up in London, that was the way it was for me. But the reason that I fell in love, one of the reasons I fell in love with the Sikh faith was this, which I'm going to share with you now. So in other faiths, in particularly the Abrahamic faiths, like for example in Christianity and in Islam and Judaism, they speak a great deal about this world being essentially it's essentially like a test, and you come here and you'll undertake certain tasks, and then on the day of judgment you die and you get buried, and then on the day of judgment you'll come back to life essentially, and you'll go to heaven or hell depending on your actions. But this is where Sikhi really is. It just comes alive, and it just goes to a different place. Maharaj, and this intuitively speaks to my heart. Maharaj talks about Vaheguru Paramatma, that form of love, that Sukh Sagar, that ocean of love, that endless ocean of love, in a completely different way. For Sikhs, it's not about living and then dying and seeing what's behind the curtain when the curtain gets pulled back. No. Maharaj isn't talking about living and then dying and then going to heaven or hell. Maharaj says that if you undertake the Guru's Upadesh, if you fulfill the Guru's teachings, you can merge with God while you're alive. So you can actually become one. We call this Jivan Mukht, meaning that you become liberated whilst you're alive. In other words, Paramatma isn't denying us the ability to merge with them while we're alive. Paramatma is saying to us that if you want to be with me, call my name through the Shabad, become one through my Naam, through the Guru, yeah? And you can merge with God. And that is the beauty of the Sadguru, coming on to the answer to the question. In other faiths, they believe that you can worship God and you can meet God. And that's when you die, and you go and you meet God when you die, and you go and meet God, and you can go to heaven or hell. But Guru Sahib is saying, it doesn't matter to me about dying. Dying is just another door. Like many doors that we go through in this world, we go through our employers' doors at work, we go through the restaurants' doors when we go to get food. You know, death is just another door. In reality, we're supposed to merge with Paramatma through the blessings of our Sadguru while we're alive. And that is where Guru Nanak Badshah is different to all of the Gurus that have come before. Yes, others have come. Prophet Muhammad has come. Jesus has come. And we know we should pay respects and we can learn from all and every, right? But there is only one Sadguru. There is only one Sadguru who is complete and perfect. And if you read the Gatha in the Pehli Poti Tika by Sant Gyani Gurbachan Singh Ji Khalsa Pindrawale, the poti was put together by Sant Kartar Singh Ji. They speak in a great deal of detail about the different avatars. There are like 7 different avatars. So there are different avatars that have come. But there's only one Puran Guru avatar, and that is Guru Nanak Badshah. So the different avatars that have come, Guru Gobind Singh Ji speaks about them in Dasam Granth. They talk about the different avatars that have come into this world and how they've had their own shortcomings. And in essence, through one way or another, through their shortcomings, they've fallen essentially to Hankar, to ego, where they've become worshipped in their own right. And they've forgotten to connect people to Paramatma, or they've been waylaid. But hearing the cries of the world, Bhai Gurdas Ji explains that Puran Guru Avatar, that perfect form of Vaheguru came to this earth, and that perfect form is Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. Guru Nanak Dev Ji came in that perfect form, and those 11 perfect forms, I should say, for they were all the same one. And so Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, they are the perfect Sadguru. For me, Maharaj is explaining that if you want to become beyond death, if you want that Amrit, If you want that anand, that pure joy, it is through the Satguru. You can achieve other things in this world, but if it's that complete oneness that you're looking for, it is through the Panj. It's through those Panj Pyare. It's through the gift of Naam from Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj in their 10th form, in their 11th form, in the form of the sword, in the form of the Guru Khalsa, that you can find bliss. And to be honest with you, I mean, if I add my own limited experience to this, now Guru's Kirpanal, I'm very grateful for the life I've lived. We've experienced many pleasures in this world. There's nothing quite like being in the Guru's company. This isn't from text. This isn't from a book. This isn't from someone else with each other. This is just from my own experience. That we've been to countries with friends. We've been to holidays in the world. We've been to parties. We've been to all of these things. And in reality, nothing compares to being in the company of the Sadh Sangat. Nothing at all is compares to the sweet Sangat of being in the company of the Guru, being in the company of the Sadhguru. And that's my own personal experience, which just doubles down. So for me, the taste of what I've experienced tells me truly that the Sadhguru, there is nothing like the Sadhguru, and it is the Sadhguru through which we're going to become one. I hope that it's a bit more detailed than perhaps the question was looking for, but in essence, the Sikh Dharam allows you to become one with God while you're alive. There's nothing quite like that in the world. There's no other teaching that exists that competes with that, especially by comparison to the Abrahamic faith. Does that make sense?
Tika Bhai, you'll ask the next question.
Yeah, please. A couple of minutes, 2 minutes. Okay.
So the next question is.
Bring him in. Bring him in. Go on. Bring him in. Yeah, please continue.
How can we love Guruji? What will make our love strong with Guruji?
So Maharaj says, there's so many ways you can answer that. Maharaj says, we aap gavaiye, ta soh paiye, aur kaisi chatarai. Maharaj says, we forget yourself. Aap gavaiye, ta soh paiye. That's how you'll find your husband, Lord. So connecting on to that first question, we're all soul brides. The way Maharaj uses the example that we're all soul brides, and the purpose of life is to merge with that husband, Lord, while we're alive, right? To do that Ananda Karaj, to become wed with our husband, Lord. And the way that we can do that is we've got to forget who we are, because when if you're like a glass of water, if you like, if I put that glass, the actual glass, in the ocean, it's not really connected, because the glass, the actual kach, the actual glassware prevents me from merging with the ocean, right? That's like our ego. Yeah. But when we turn the glass upside down and the contents of that glass spill from the glass into the ocean, we've forgotten the glass, right? We're no longer the glass. We've recognized that we're actually inside. We're just water, right? And then that water, free from the glass, can merge with the ocean, if that makes sense. So I guess to love Guruji, to feel Guruji's love, it's about forgetting the glass, right? And I think the way that we do that is we have to put our mat aside. And this is particularly important now. I was talking about it when we were talking about by Lena. There's too much in this world of people applying this scholarly intellect. We think by now, I'm going to be a bit harsh, I hope people aren't offended, but we think because we've got degrees now that we've got the ability to interpret things better than our parents, better than those that have come, those great scholars that have come before us. And so we think that everything that everyone's done is wrong. But those great scholars, they did something very important that we forget. They'd merged. Great scholars like Bhai Veer Singh, Sant Gyani Gurbacha Singh Ji Khalsa Brindrawala, these great beings, these great saints, it is through their example. We can look at them and go, yeah, but you didn't have technology, you didn't have a degree. But what we do by doing that is we are remembering ourselves. We're not forgetting ourselves the way that we're supposed to. And I think what we've got to do now is we've got to put our own mat aside. Yes, our mat is there to help us progress in the world, to progress at work, to progress in our careers. But when we step out of our careers, we should forget that and come before the Guru as a beggar. For it is when we're truly humble before the Guru that we can learn from the Guru's teachings. If our glass is empty, so to speak, using the example of the glass once again, then we can fill ourselves with that ocean of love. Does that make sense?
Okay, so in the next there's a comment by Gurumadrid Singh Pradeshi, and they said, Guru Fateh Singh, thank you for the great talk. Going to be difficult to follow that later.
If any of you guys know who Pradeshi is, right, this guy, right, legend. He set up the website Gurumadrid. Guys, if you haven't done it yet already, I'm really, really passionate about this. I don't plug many things, but I really like to plug this. So my older brother, Gurumadrid Singh, he's an author of a book series. And this book series, in my opinion, I'm going to choose my words very specifically here. They are the best texts available in the world on Sikhi. I'm going to say that again, yeah? They're the best books that are available in terms of explaining Sikh Dharma in English. They are absolutely flipping amazing. Yeah, and they are taken from, the reason I say that is, look, my background is I'm a lawyer. I've been practicing law for about 10 years now. For me, it's always about referencing stuff, finding the right case precedent, and making sure you've got your facts straight and you're not misrepresenting the facts. If you go into a courtroom and you misrepresent facts, you know, you're going to get in a lot of trouble. So I've been trained from a young age to make sure that things are accurately detailed. And so when we approach Gatha Vichar, for me, it's my passion to learn about Sikh history. My passion to learn about Gurbani. I just love it. It's something that's really important to me. I really, really enjoy doing it. And so for me, when I was trying to find decent research materials, it was always about finding accurate stuff. And I got really frustrated when people would write stuff inaccurately, or they would record dates wrong, or they would put the facts inappropriately, or they would misinterpret Gurbani and things like this. It would really upset me that people aren't taking it so seriously. And so what Gurumadrid Singh Ji has done is they've basically taken the sources from great Badars, great scholars like we just spoke about, and what they're doing is they're translating those texts into English. And there's a book series, it's on Instagram, you can check it out. It's called Sikhism in Snippets. And I think it's like $15 a month, and you subscribe to it, and every month they send you out a book. And honestly, the texts are just so well referenced, so accurate, and they're just really, really decent resources. If anybody wants to read about Sikhi in like short, the book's like 2 or 3 hours long, I'd really, really recommend. A lot of the research that I've done has come from these books, and I think it's they're really good. So you've got young households, you've got younger, you want to read them stories before they go to bed, you want to increase your Sikh knowledge, check out those books. I'm not sure how you guys have come to have him a guest on the on the camp, but if you guys can, maybe the Sevadar can look at that, about promoting that as a parting gift to all of the campers, that they can be sent a link to subscribe to the book series or something like that.
Haji, what we were actually working on today is basically a book order. So that basically during the talk we're gonna, like the biceps talk, we're gonna actually promote it more, where people can actually, if they're in the GTA area or the BC area, we are gonna do mass book orders, so that way it saves the Sanghat a lot of money on shipping and individually buying books. So that if you live in those two areas, let us know, because we're releasing the Google form today where you can fill it out, and that way the Sanghat can mass purchase it. Haji Paisa, go ahead.
Yeah, just to give you an idea, they've done a book series on Japji Sahib, right? Which is just phenomenal. It's just a phenomenal, and with each book, like for example, that I think it's like 3 or 4 bodies of Japji Sahib per book. But what he does is he goes into the depth of explaining the context where Guru Nanak Dev Ji were, what Sakhi was being undertaken, what story was present when Guru Nanak Dev Ji revealed these particular Shabads. I mean, they've just done a book on there's too many things I could talk about, but I'll say it again for the 3rd time. These, in my humble opinion, in my honest opinion, these are the best books on Sikhi that I've ever come across. They're flipping amazing. It's an absolute must that I think everybody should subscribe to this, either through yourselves on that multi-book order, or even directly just to have those books every 2 months. The other thing about the books, which I think is really cool, is they come every couple of months. So Guru Amardas Ji Maharaj says to us in Anand Sahib, they say, "E Sri Rameria, Is jag mein aake kya tud karam kamaya." So when we do Anand Sahib in the mornings, Maharaj says to us, "E Sri Rameria, be I've come into this body. Is jag mein aake, I've come into this world. Be kya tud karam kamaya." And so what Maharaj, this is from my own understanding, what Maharaj is saying to us is, yo, every morning when you recite this, it's a rhetorical question before you start your day. Be, what have I done in this world? What am I doing? And so as we do that, it's a chance to sort of journal in your mind every morning as part of our Nityam, to reflect, what have I learned today? What have I learned yesterday? What am I going to do today? And it's a chance to keep a daily tab on where we are in life. And so what the beauty about these books are is, once you've subscribed, unless you cancel your subscription, every month or so, you're going to get a book. And that's like a kick up the backside. It's like, if you haven't read the last one, it's like, yo, what have I done in 2 months? I can't read a short book. That's like a 2.5 hour, 3 hour book read. So it's a way of just keeping tabs on yourself. When the book comes through and you haven't read last month's book, or it's a chance to just sort of keep things on a monthly sort of reflection be, how am I getting on? Am I doing any reading? Am I doing any personal growth in a really positive way? And at the same time, adding the resources that you have. So yeah, so I want to just plug the book. So I thought it was really, really important that you guys take that away.
Okay, so the next question is, how should we dispose of our gish that we have combed out? Thank you for the talk, G.
Right, so there is different thoughts on this, different sources on this. I haven't come across an authority on this. Like for me, authorities are really important. About the only authority that I've come across is in Suraj Prakash, if I'm not mistaken, Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, when they are leaving Jamkaur Sahib, it speaks about how they wouldn't walk upon the gaze of those things those things that had become shaheed. And so there's the source there is that we should have sadaqah for our gaze even once it's come out of our head. For me, so that's the reference that I've got. For me personally, again, going from the Retaname, we come our gaze twice a day because they are of the Panch Kakar, they are the primal Kakar, they are the most important of the 5Ks. It is so we come our gears twice a day, and those gears that come loose, I collect them up and I burn them. I burn that gas, and then I've heard from other things that the ash that is burned, that you should dispose of it in running water. So take it to a river, and you should dispose of it in a running river. That's the knowledge that I've come across. But certainly, I would burn the gas in the first instance, so that it becomes so it's not disrespected on the floor and so on and so forth. That's all I can give. That's all I can give you for that, really.
So can Kalyug be said to be a state of mind rather than a stage of the world or time in Sikhi?
I think so. Going back to Pailana, that beautiful one. They're just the Don, man. Pailana, they say, Jeso Chanda Ugave, Suraj Chare Hajar, Ete Chanan Hondia, Guru bin Ko Randar. So what does Pailana say of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj? They say something so beautiful, man. And again, you can't write this stuff, man. This doesn't exist in other. Sikhi's got such a sweetness to it. Maharaj says, Jay Sochanda Ugave, that if 100 moons were to rise, Sochanda, 100 moons, yeah? Suraj Chare Hajar, that if 1,000 suns were to rise, so if 100 moons were to rise into the sky, all that brightness from the moon, and 1,000 suns were to rise into the sky, Suraj Chare Hajar, Ette Chanan Hondiya, Guru bin Ko Randar. Even then, you're going to be in complete darkness without the Guru. In other words, using that understanding of Kaljug, meaning the age of darkness, even then, what Maharaj is saying is that without the Guru, you could be in the most bright light. You could be in 1,000 suns. You could be in the face of 1,000 suns. But without the Guru, you're in complete darkness. And so I will say to you that you can be if you're not in the company of the Guru or the Sadh Sangat, even in Satyug, you're still going to be in darkness. So for me, yeah, I can say that's true. We have the Char Yuga that exist in terms of the Sanatan Dharam, in terms of the Sanatan understanding of time. We have that, right? But I think in reality, if we're not in a great place in our own minds, we're going to be in Kaljug. If we're not remembering Paramatma, if we're living our life and all we're doing is causing pain to ourselves, we're in a dark place anyway, right? So I would say that you can be, I would say that it can be a state of mind. On the flip side, we're in Kaljug right now, but for those Gurmukhs that are waking at Amrit Vela and they're reciting the name of God and they become one with the Shabad, they wouldn't be looking aside and seeing Kaljug. All those great saints see, all those great saints will see is they will say Sat everywhere. So yeah, whilst we're living in Kaljug, this is no doubt, we're 5,000 years into a 432,000 year age of Kal, yeah? We're in this dark age of Kaljug. It can be Satyug for those Gurmukhs. Nanak Naam Chardi Kala. Through that Naam, we can remain in ever-rising spirits. We can be in a state of Sat, right? So yeah, Kaljug it can be a state of mind, or it can be, or in the dark age of Kaljug, you can overcome Kaljug through your state of being, through your state of mind. Nika, come
Um,
on. How many questions have we got left?
We've got quite a few.
Cool. Okay.
About 5-6 questions, yeah.
It's fine. I need to talk to you. Take a seat.
Yeah. So could you retell the part which mentioned by Lena ji and Mata Slukhani ji?
All right, I'll call you. I'll call you in a bit then. Sorry, could you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, could you retell the part which mentioned Bhai Lehna ji and Mata Lakshmi ji?
In terms of the Sakhi,
Yeah.
I'm not sure that would be appropriate to have the Sangat have to listen to me repeat that part of the Sakhi again. I'll just do a very quick summary. In essence, Mata Salakani ji is saying to Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, don't you think it's appropriate for your sons to succeed you as the Guru? And Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, they remain silent because they realize that this is the way of the world. And to explain to someone the way of the world in a different way, that it's going to be difficult. This going to be difficult to do because that is the way of the world. The way of the world is to prefer your sons and to give them your inheritance. But Guru Nanak Dev Ji would give those examples, for example, that mice in the darbar and the matiai falling from the trees, to show that whilst you might think this is an appropriate way in the world to dispose of your inheritance through your children, the way of the Guru is to make sure that the Sadguru is always that one which is true. I should have said it that way the first time. It sounded better the second time, didn't it? But yeah, you get the point right.
Yeah. Okay, so the next question is, you said you were not born into Sikhi. Like myself, this is the case too. Do you have any advice for those starting their journey? Is there anything you wish you may have done earlier in your journey which would have helped you later on?
Oh, 100%, man. 100%. I've got a couple of bits of advice. Yeah, if I could go back. No, I have no regrets. But if I were doing it again, this is probably something I would pay more attention to. Number one is Gatha is so important. Gatha is so important. If you listen to Gatha, it's very hard to have your mind fall away from the attention of the Guru. It's very hard for your mind's attention to stray from the Guru. Listening to Gatha every day is such a blessing. So just like we have like our Nityanem as part of our daily routine. For me personally, I try and listen to Gatha every day. Gatha meaning divine discourse from those great Gurmukhs. Because when you listen to Gatha, that is what your mind will become attuned to. And so for me, when I came into Sikhi, I didn't know this. I didn't know as much about Gatha as now become so prevalent. So listening to Gatha every day, there's never been a time in history where Gatha has been more available than it is right now. You know, like basics of Sikhi, Sikh to Inspire, Guru Granth Sahib Ji Academy, Experience Sikhi. There are so many ways that you can listen to Gatha online. Just make a commitment that every day you're going to listen to half an hour playlist. You're going to listen to half an hour. You're going to start listening to a playlist, and then just, start making notes. When you do that, that becomes your khajana, and you realize that it's just a blissful thing to have as part of your daily routine. We binge watch Netflix series and we take nothing from it. And if we start listening to Gatha every day, things just start to change. So number one, I'd say listen to Gatha. And number two, I'd say the Sadh Sangat. When I initially came into Sikhi, it was like a massive high. And then I immediately had a massive low because in my ego, I thought, right, I've done it. This is amazing. I'm there. And that was a really hard lesson for me to learn because I realized actually you ain't done nothing, man. You're just an insect. You're just lucky to be in the Sangat. And for me, it's all about being blessed to be in the Sadh Sangat. For me, I'm so grateful that I have great Gurmukhs that I sometimes have a chance to see. And what that will do is it will just keep you motivated and it will keep you inspired as to where you want to be. So Moskeen talks about this in their Gatha. They speak about how we should look at those great ones in a positive sort of envy, that if we have those positive examples in our life, we can envy their qualities in a positive way, that we should be able to become like them. And you can only have those examples if you have those examples, right? You can only have that aspiration if you have those people around you. So spend time in the Sangat. Those are the two things I would share. One, listen to Gatha every day and make notes and just be part of that in your journey. And number two, make sure that you always stay in the Sangat. Don't think for a second that, I've got this now, and just move on. The Sangat isn't something that you move on from. The Sangat is something that you are always aspiring to remain attached to. It's the one destination that you don't move away from once you've reached it, because it's everything to you. I hope that makes sense.
The next question is, as you mentioned with family, etc., who may not be as open to letting you excel with Sikhi, how can we do this while still keeping respect for our parents and not getting frustrated with them?
Okay, so I think that I'm recently discovering this in Gurbani now, and that's the importance of gratitude. So it's very hard to fall out with someone that you are expressing gratitude towards and with and through. So when we come into Sikhi, we haven't got to turn into plonkers. We haven't got to turn into like nasty, arrogant people that think they know best. That's not the purpose of Sikhi isn't to make you above anybody, but to realize that we have an obligation as the Khalsa to serve everybody. And so when you're with family and you operate from a place of appreciation and gratitude, because they're still your family, right? They've served you the whole of your life. And for you to just wake up one day and go, yo, I want to do this, you can, to operate from a place of empathy and sympathy, that they might feel a little bit insecure about what you're doing, right? We're not here to show them up. We're not here to embarrass anybody. We're not here to say, I'm better than you. We're here to say that, look, my life's improving, man, and I'm in a better place. And I'm really grateful for you for everything that you've done. It's very hard to fall out with someone that's expressing gratitude towards you and love towards you. So let's start those conversations from a place of gratitude and patience and love, and make that person, because there'll be a lot of insecurities. You go home to your mum that's been cooking you food every day, and you go, look, I don't want to eat meat anymore. I want to become a vegetarian. Yeah. That's going to be really hard for your mum, man. She's a person that served you from the best of her abilities for a number of years. You've come home and just kicked it all on top of his head. So it's about coming from a place of gratitude and love and like thankfulness. And you'll find that very few people will turn away from the journey that you want to undertake when you're operating from a place of love.
Okay, so is this the first and last time that Guru Nanak Dev Ji came to this world? As we know, there are many more different Earths and universes like this right now, and in the past and the future. So did or will Guru Nanak Dev Ji come to the other places, planets, or universes too?
So Guru Nanak Pacha came in their first form, and they're still here now. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji never left this earth. So there are different ways you can answer this. On a metaphysical sense, you can say that they are that form of creation, which each part and parcel of creation is connected through and with. So in the Bij Mantra we say Ik Onkar. Ik meaning one. Om meaning the whole sound of creation, the whole form of creation. God, Maharaj is saying that from that one, the Shabad came, the Om Shabad came, and from that Shabad came the whole of creation. So in that sense, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj is part and parcel of every part of creation on that level. If you mean physically Guru Nanak Dev Ji in terms of the pictures that Sobha Singh has put on in our rooms and our houses, in that sense, also Guru Nanak Dev Ji is also present, because they came in that first form. Suni Bukar Tatar Prabhu Guru Nanak Jagamahi Bataya, hearing the cries of the world. By Guru Dasi explains that Guru Nanak Dev Ji came themselves to this earth in 1469. But when they came here, they remain here now, because they were that first form, they were that second form, they were that 10th form, and they are now that 11th form. So Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj is present in every Guru card in the form of the Shabad. Every time that we recite the Shabad of Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj, of Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, that is Guru Nanak Dev Ji present there and then. So it's important that we understand, we have to get away from this sort of Christianized sort of Western understanding of deityism, because Guru Nanak Dev Ji wasn't just a deity, they are that form of all creation, and they are that form of the Shabad. They are the Guru, they are the Shabad as well. And so when we think of it outside of the box, Guru Nanak Dev Ji is here right now in the Guru card, because they are that Shabad. So they never left. Or putting it much more beautifully, Ad Sacha, Jugad Sacha, Happy Sacha. Happy Sacha, Nanaka Hosi Pi Sacha. Maharaj is true before time was even created. They were true when the ages came to be. Be happy Sacha. Honvi Sacha. Honvi Sadanalaya. Be Nanaka Hosi Pi Sacha. They will be true forevermore. Guru Mere Sangha Sada Henale. Guru Sahib explains that the Guru is always with us. So we need to get away from this understanding of Guru in the sort of physical sense. And when we can sort of break that barrier down, which our mind needs to construct it through, we'll understand that the Guru was here before, the Guru is here right now, and they will always be with us in the form of the Shabad. There's a little quick sakhi, in fact, when Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj was going to leave this world at Sajkhand Siri Hazur Sahib, in the physical sense, Bhai Daya Singh Ji went to grab onto their feet, say, Maharaj, don't leave us, let us remain with us. And when they went to grab Guru Gobind Singh Ji's feet, their hands went through their feet as if they were an apparition. And Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj famously spoke the words. They said to Bhai Singh, say, don't you know I was never this body, I was never this form, meaning that they were always the Shabad. So that will hopefully give you a deeper understanding that Guru Sahib has never come, he's never gone. They were always present in the form of the Shabad. Ek Onkar. That makes sense.
All right, thank you so much, Bhai Sahib. Bhai Sahib, do you want to answer any more questions, or if you have to go, it's fine. Just let us know.
No, there was somebody who was waiting to see me. We've opened a vegan coffee shop here in East London, and there was somebody there, but they've gone now. They were going to speak to me, but they've gone. It depends on the sangat. I'm here to serve the sangat. If you've had enough of me now and you want to throw me out, that's absolutely fine. If you have questions, if I can be of service, whatever you need.
And Sangachi, if you'd like to speak directly with Bhai Sahib, just click the raise hand button, and then you can speak verbally to them directly. Otherwise, if you have any questions, put them in the question box. And again, everyone, please.
Can you stop? Please stop calling me Bhai Sahib. Just call me Amandeep Singh. Yeah? I'm just
Okay.
your brother. Yeah.
Okay.
Just your.
Amandeep Singh, my brother. Okay. Also, follow Bhai Amandeep Singh Ji, my brother, on Instagram at Amandeep_Singh_East London. The link is posted in the question box as well. Please follow my brother, Bhai Amandeep Singh on Instagram.
This guy, man. So look, we've got a humble page on Instagram. Thanks for starting on that, guys. We try to put out little short of each other, like a 1 minute bit of wisdom once a week from the teachings that we researched from the Guru Sahib. So yeah, please check it out on there. And we've also started
follow
a YouTube channel.
YouTube channel, Amandeep Singh East London YouTube channel. I'm gonna post that as well, and your SoundCloud as well. You have a katha on there, correct?
No, that's not. It's just YouTube and Instagram.
Oh, okay. Sounds good.
Guys, if I've made any, you guys are probably much more learned than me. If I've made any mistakes or anything I said was inaccurate, please message me. We're always looking to learn and grow. We can never stop learning. The moment we think that we know everything, we know nothing. So if I made any mistakes, please message me and let me know. And hopefully with Guru's Kirpa, we can come and see you guys in Canada and hopefully put some of the names to some of these faces. Shout out to everybody otherwise.
All right, so there's one more question. It says, how can we have more acceptance of our current situation and have more santok, etc., get better at accepting hukum?
That's a really good question. So Maharaj says, they say in Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, the ninth form, now I can use this language with more understanding. So the ninth form of Guru Nanak, the ninth form, right? So we spoke about how Guru Nanak Dev Ji didn't leave this world, yeah? In the ninth form, Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj explains, they say, Jo nar dukh mein dukh nahi manne, sukh sneho aur pehne jaake kanchan mati manne. Guru Sahib goes on to explain that for a Gursikh, for one that merges with God, Jo nar dukh mein dukh nahi manne. So it's not the case that we're not going to experience difficult times that make us discontented. It's not the case that we're going to endure only happy times. We're going to have difficult times in this world, and those times might cause us pain. But what Maharaj says is the goal is to become of such an understanding, be jo nar, that being dukh mein, in the midst of dukh nahi mande, but you haven't got to just mand the dukh. You haven't got to choose to be consumed by that. I think it's really important that we understand this. We can't necessarily change what's happening to us on a day-to-day basis, but we can change how we choose to perceive those things, how we choose to feel about those things. And that is totally in our control. And once we understand the way that we feel is our choice, we can choose happiness. So I'm going to say that again. A lot of the times we get dumped with a situation and we think, oh, this is my situation. I must feel rubbish about this. Whilst we can't change the situation, perhaps, in the short term, we can choose how we feel. The way that we feel is down to us. We can choose happiness, and that's down entirely to how we choose to perceive things. Let me give you an example, right? So imagine you're at a wedding, right? And you're watching the photographer in the bar side, right? And they're trying to take a photo of the bride and groom, but they can't because we're in one of these massive darbars with all these massive pillars. And there's a pillar right in the way. Now, in that moment, that's his circumstance, that's his situation, right? Now, he can't change where the bride and groom are sitting, because if he went up to them and said, "Oi, go and stand up, go and move to your left and to get that photo of you," he get kicked out of the wedding, right? He can't choose where that pillar is, because those are the circumstances. But he can change his viewpoint, right? He can change where he chooses to stand. He can change how he chooses to perceive that situation. And if he takes 2 or 3 side steps to the left or right, he'll find that his vision of that same situation completely changes. And all of a sudden, he's got a great shot that he can snap and then obviously put in the photo album. So the point is whilst we can't change the circumstance, we can't change the wedding, we can't change the structure of the building, we can choose where we stand or how we choose to perceive that circumstance. And I think that's where contentment comes into it, taking ownership of how we choose to see things. Like the example, the question earlier about family members and stuff like this. We haven't got to choose an argument with people in our lives that aren't willing to that are struggling with our newfound choices to come into Sikhi, right? We can choose to shower them with love and appreciation and understanding, because up until you learned about Sikhi and you're trying to come into Sikhi, those same people were the best friends you ever had, and so we should remain appreciative and grateful for them. And if we do that and we choose that standpoint, we're less likely to fall out, and we're less likely to alienate people and be in a discontented state ourselves. So I hope that helps.
And then, Paisab, the last question we have is, what's the name of the vegan coffee shop?
Check out the vegan coffee shop. It's in East Ham. It's called VE6. So E6 is our postcode. We called it VE6 so it looks like veg. On Instagram, you can find it. It's VE6_coffee. And we do some pretty cool food here. We've got like a meditation area here. We've got like an area for like stand-up comedy. It's a cool little thing. So if anyone's in town, message me on Instagram and come by and see us. We'll give you the best coffee in town.
All right, thank you so much for joining us today, Paisab. And everyone, please follow Paisab's Instagram at Amandeep_Singh_East_London, as well as follow them on YouTube. All their links have been posted in the question box. Thank you so much, Paisab. Any closing statements, any final words?
Deep love to you guys. Thank you for thinking of me and inviting me out on this Discord app. I'm looking forward to hopefully seeing you guys face to face in the near future.
Thank you so much. Vaheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Vaheguru Ji Ki Fateh.